I still remember my jaw dropping the first time I climbed 12th century Jerusalem's walls as Altair. The original Assassin's Creed felt revolutionary, a new blend of history and sci-fi wrapped around pure parkour thrills. The game's razor-sharp and refreshing combination of history, science fiction, and parkour-based action truly turned heads everywhere in 2007. That sense of wonder, of jumping from minarets into piles of hay and feeling like a legendary assassin, hooked me instantly. The Animus framing device just added to the magic, making every leap feel like a living dream. For fans, that first leap of faith was pure childhood wonder. Ezio Auditore stepped onto the scene in Assassin's Creed 2, and he quickly became the new hero. Set in beautiful Renaissance Italy, the game had everything: sprawling cities, Leonardo da Vinci gadgets, and a revenge-fueled storyline that gave Ezio incredible depth. Critics pointed out that the sequel sharpened Assassin's Creed's impact as Ezio became a fan-favorite character, and they weren't wrong. We spent hours wandering Florence and Venice, eavesdropping in piazzas or swooping down into fountains. Ezio's witty charm and grace, and yes, even throwing hands with the Pope, made AC2 unforgettable. Playing as Ezio felt like living in a painting, and we still talk about his journey with nostalgia. Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. Brotherhood took everything we loved about Ezio and turned it up to 11 in the city of Rome. Sprinting across the Colosseum's arena floor and planning assassinations in grand piazzas was cool, but the coolest addition was its multiplayer, the first in the series. The devs created a devious mode where you hunt down friends and then drift away into a crowd, like you were never there. Suddenly you were plotting with buddies online, sneaking through virtual crowds and betraying each other's targets. Recruiting your own assassins around Rome felt epic too. For me, jumping onto a horse mid-raid or pulling off a perfectly timed crowd vanish with friends made Brotherhood truly stand out. Assassin's Creed Revelations. Revelations felt like an emotional homecoming for Ezio, tying together his story with Altair's legacy. We got to explore bustling Constantinople and witness decades of Ezio's life. Gameplay-wise, the game introduced the hook blade and zip lines, which Ezio could use to zip across the skyline. Revelations granted Ezio even more mobility with zip lines and the new hook blade. There was this rush of yanking a guard from above or swinging between minarets. These tools made exploration faster and combat more creative. Paired with the satisfying reveals of Altair's secrets, Revelations gave us a fittingly grand finale to Ezio's journey, and it felt both fresh and deeply familiar. Assassin's Creed 3. Assassin's Creed 3 shook things up by taking us to revolutionary-era America, and it felt huge. There was freedom, hunting deer through snowy woods, canoeing down rivers, or even hopping onto the USS Kidd for some naval action. The game introduced animal hunting and naval combat, and dramatic weather changes, such as snow and rain. Sneaking up on a wolf or riding through a blizzard was unforgettable. Plus, huge events like Washington's crossing of the Delaware made history feel alive. Between the rustic frontier and those stormy seas, AC3 gave us an American revolution on a cinematic scale. It was a revolution for the series in every sense. Assassin's Creed 4. Black Flag. Black Flag let us live out a pirate fantasy. Sailing the turquoise Caribbean, plundering other ships and uncovering sunken treasure felt amazing. This game truly set the player free by expanding on everything from the last game, especially its naval combat. We spent hours battling on deck, broadside cannon fights with the Jackdaw, ram attacks, and even hunting whales under the sunset. The sea itself felt like another character. In fact, the golden age of piracy setting allowed for treasure trekking across underwater shipwrecks, sea animal hunts, and a variety of ocean-based side missions. For me, being both assassin and pirate, sword in one hand, pistol in the other, was pure liberating fun that made Black Flag a fan favorite. Assassin's Creed Rogue. Rogue often flies under the radar, but as a fan, I absolutely loved its twist. Here we played Shay, a former assassin turned Templar. The story flips our expectations. Controls and maps will feel familiar if you played Black Flag, but suddenly you're hunting assassins instead. The developers even called it a dramatic twist of focus for the series. Exploring icy river towns and snowy forts from a Templar's perspective was exciting. Shay also came packing extra firepower. Rogue felt like a dark mirror of Black Flag, the same pirate vibes on the waves, but seen through an entirely new lens. Assassin's Creed Unity. Unity plunged us into a beautifully rebuilt revolutionary Paris. with winding streets and glowing lanterns in the night fog. Climbing Notre Dame was a dream come true, even if it had bugs. What really made Unity memorable, though, was co-op. For the first time, up to 4 players could join forces to hunt targets together. Ubisoft highlighted this optional co-op campaign for up to 4 players as a first for the series, and it was so fun to coordinate stealth kills in real life. Even the weapon crafting felt deeper. Assassin's Creed Syndicate. With Syndicate, London's gaslit streets and Victorian rooftops set the stage, and it introduced 2 playable twins, Jacob and Evie Fry. You could switch between their styles, Jacob with his brute fists, Evie with her cunning stealth. The game proudly brought twin assassin protagonists to the series, and even featured its first playable female lead in Evie. Between the industrial vibe, horse gliding down foggy streets, and the sisters' sibling banter, Syndicate stood out for letting us play 2 very different assassins in one city, something we had never seen before. Assassin's Creed Origins. Origins rebooted the series in glorious fashion. Ancient Egypt was breathtaking. From sun-baked deserts and towering pyramids to bustling bazaars, you really felt like an explorer. Ubisoft leaned fully into RPG elements here, giving us leveling, loot, and deep combat. Origins had a greater focus on leveling up systems and progression, intricate crafting, and complex combat mechanics. Suddenly, every mission earned experience and new abilities, feeling like a true warrior of the sands. Bayek's personal story and the mystery of the Hidden Ones hooked us emotionally, making Origins feel alive. It was the best blend of Assassin's Creed and RPG mechanics yet. Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Odyssey took all that was good in Origins and amplified it with a Greek mythic twist. We got to choose our own hero and chart our own path through the Peloponnesian War. Story-wise, it was incredible to have dialogue choices, branching quests, and even multiple possible endings. Those player-driven paths made each playthrough unique. Plus, the mythological cameos were insanely fun. Wrestling a minotaur on top of a mountain, or quizzing the Sphinx, or sailing on a warship under a stormy sky. Odyssey's huge open world, rich side quests, and the freedom to forge alliances or rivalries made every session feel epic. Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Valhalla let us truly live the Viking fantasy. As Iver the Raider, I led brutal boat assaults on English monasteries and forged a Norse settlement. It even brought back something I loved in Black Flag, your own settlement to build and customize. Gathering materials, upgrading our longhouse, and adding blacksmiths and barracks made us responsible for our little Viking town. Between hammering out raids, hunting in misty forests, and winning mead hall drinking contests, the immersion was total. And of course, the Norse mythology quirks and Ivor's family saga were engrossing. Valhalla balanced large-scale war with personal storytelling, making it my own saga. It proved the series could still surprise us with new settings and game styles, even after a decade. Assassin's Creed Mirage. Mirage was a true love letter to old-school Assassin's Creed. It returns us to 9th century Baghdad with Basim's story, focusing tightly on stealth and parkour. The game purposefully focused on stealth over action and put movement and assassinations back at the forefront. The story was more direct and the map smaller, but it let us savor every assassination plan. It felt nostalgic, like coming home to a style we all missed. For longtime fans, the pure stealth gameplay and Baghdad's moody streets were the best part, reminding us why we fell in love with this series in the first place. Assassin's Creed Shadows. Assassin's Creed Shadows gave us something we'd all been dreaming of. Not just Japan, but 2 unforgettable heroes. Yasuki, the armored samurai, storms through enemies with sheer force, while Naoi, the silent shinobi, slips through shadows like a whisper. Switching between them never gets old. One moment you're slicing through a rain-soaked fortress, the next you're scaling rooftops in total silence. It's the best of both worlds, power and stealth, rage and grace. For me, that duality is the heart of Shadows. It's like the franchise finally gave us everything: style, strategy, and the freedom to choose how to approach every mission. What did you guys like the most about each Assassin's Creed? I'm reading every comment to find out.